wants to hire people that get out of jail. Like, I got lucky because my boss, he was willing to give me a chance because I'm young, dude. But if you're like 40 years old, fucking all tatted up, trying to get out of jail, oh, what's up, let me get a job, huh? Nah, it don't work like that, man.
Jason, you ready to roll? Let's go. Go here. I'm away from my stop drama.
Hello, lady. Billy Joe. How goes it, Billy Joe? Man. Oh. Been a minute.
Been a minute.
Been a minute.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Got a haircut?
Yeah, haircut.
Yeah.
No more long hair.
For now.
For now.
For now.
Yeah, I'm growing it out again.
Yeah.
You know, we get stuck holding on to these limiting beliefs that we have, which then puts people in a certain box. A lot of times the label comes first. So it's incarcerated youth. And our big thing is we have to change the narrative and we have to put the people first. So it's youth that are incarcerated, right? It's always the person first before the label. And so we're really about like opening up the box and not putting any sort of label on anyone.
So my name is Nathan Angelo Contreras. I'm 20 years old from Santa Maria, California. A little bit about myself. I have three sisters, one brother, 2 dogs, a goldfish named Georgie, and yeah, I have a mom, a dad, and yeah, man, I almost forgot. I have a 13-month-old son too, named Isaiah. Cutest little man ever.
So talk to us about little Nathan, that 12-year-old boy.
Around 12 years old, I started getting into trouble. I started hanging out with gang members, and eventually, when I was 15, I actually became a gang member myself. I spent a lot of time in juvenile hall. I made a lot of bad decisions. I went to boys camp until I met you, and when I went from juvenile probation to adult probation, I started doing good and stuff. Ever since I had my son, I was doing good. And it's hard, man, being fucking 19 years old. My bad, I cussed. It's hard. It's hard being 19 years old and having a little baby son, but you know, man, it's so cool. Like, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, it's like being a father, definitely the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Most of the people that are incarcerated here don't believe that they deserve any better. They've messed up their whole lives. They don't deserve to be happy. They don't deserve to have a good life. They don't even know what steps to take to get there. Okay, so my name is Deirdre Smith. I'm the Inmate Services Manager at Santa Barbara County Jail. If we look at the whole picture and the holistic view of our inmates and about trauma and how does that affect the decisions that people make and the way people feel about themselves and are they worth anything else? And so many of these people here never had a chance, or their parents abused them, and the people that were supposed to protect them hurt them more than anybody in the whole entire world could have possibly hurt
99.
them.
Yeah, it feels good out here.
It's nice, huh?
Yeah.
A little fresh air.
Yeah. It's my first time here.
Oh, it's your first time?
Yeah, they brought me from the juvenile hall.
Oh, okay.
No, I was institutionalized like my whole life, so
Okay.
I didn't really get to go to high school.
Yeah. Well, we'll make this your last time here.
Yeah, hopefully, huh?
No, hopefully you will. You're young.
I know, I just turned 18.
You got a lot of years. Get back to school, a lot of opportunities. Coming around. Move to the right.
To the right?
If I just take a woman and I give her all of the treatment that we have here, and she goes right back to a traumatic home environment or bad relationship or whatever it was, she's gonna come right back here. So I have to teach her how she can get past that trauma and survive that and move on so that she can get past the substance abuse and the abusive relationships and all of those things, and so that she can feel worthy of being happy and successful.
Hey, Billy Joe. How you doing, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Good. Just making it through it.
Yes, so good to see you.
Christian Gonzalez. Nice to meet you. Oh, hello. My name's Christian. Nice to meet you, man.
I'm Christina.
Nice to meet you. All right, nice to meet you, Christian.
When you get a juvenile that comes into the juvenile justice system at age 12, you already know that that child has probably had 12 years of trauma.
I'm considered a grown-up now. 2 months ago, I was a juvenile, and now I'm considered a grown-up. I knew one day I was gonna be here. I knew one day I was gonna end up in prison. There's only like 3 paths that I had to pick from, you know, and
What are those paths?
you know, it's either like I'm gonna be a drug addict, I'm gonna die, or I'm just gonna be locked up in prison. Like growing up with my mom and stuff, like a bumpy road, you know. She was a good mother, don't get me wrong, you know, she just was going through a lot of pain. So I had to grow up to be like an adult in a way, take care of my brothers and sisters at 10 years old. Like as time passed, I saw my mom get arrested, and then I got taken away, which I went into the foster unit. But my whole life, I just thought, you know, oh, I just miss my mom, but it was really trauma, you know, because I saw my mom get arrested, and it wasn't like an arrest. It was like you know, like pull, like a resist, and I saw my mom go away, and I was attached to her. And once that happened, I was just, you know, trying to find her everywhere I could, but I was finding her the wrong way because she got locked up, and then I was like, oh, she's probably there, you know, but I was a juvenile. And I got locked up at 12, and then I was just institutionalized my whole life, and in and out, drugs, and then participating in the lifestyle that I'm in, you know.
I was always going back and forth from boys camp to juvenile hall for fighting. I think if we had like more community, like program, like Freedom for Youth, if we had more communities like that back when I was young, I feel like it would have made a difference. I feel like I would have done better. But you know, I can't blame my actions on any other person because I'm the one, you know, I'm the one who did this. I'm the reason why I'm sitting here right now. You know what I'm saying, Billy Joe?
What I know about people that are going to the boys' camp is that they're incredible leaders and they have all these amazing talents and gifts that maybe didn't fit the norm of their school experience. We meet them where they're at, wherever that is. And so if they are participating in some gang activity, we acknowledge that some of that is probably because they want to belong.
But you know, sometimes they're like, you just feel like there's something missing, you know? And I think that I searched for that with my friends, that I found that love within my, like a group of friends. And that's how I got raveled into it.
So we take the good parts, right? And we're like, hey, you've got these great leadership abilities because maybe you're in a gang, and maybe we can take those leadership abilities and apply them into a different part of your life. Flipping all these bias and all these conceptions that we have about people and their dysfunctional behavior.
Yeah, but like the older kids, the ones that are actually getting into trouble out there, running the streets, running around with guns, like there's like no safe haven for them, except for juvenile hall and boys camp. That's like the safest place as you could get. It's not good.
Growing up, it was really like, you know, how am I gonna survive today? You know, how am I gonna eat? Where am I gonna sleep? You know, am I gonna survive these streets? Yes, right now I'm locked up, obviously, you know, but I have a plan, you know. Well, my main goal was, all right, I'm gonna graduate high school, and I knew I was gonna go to county, because once you turn 18, they're gonna send you straight to county. I got here and I was nervous. I was like, damn, I've never been here before. But the first thing I thought was like, oh, you know, there's classes here, you know? Because I knew that, all right, there's classes here. Maybe I could do something to keep my mind out of the negative and work on my GED so I could get milestones too, you know? I was really focused on graduating. I knew I deserved it because I worked hard. I worked really hard to get there. And when I got there, I was like, damn, you know, I've accomplished something. And the staff, you know, probation, they acknowledged it and they put it out there like, this kid right here worked his butt off to get here, you know, like, he's gonna get this graduation. Like, I had all my family there. Like, it was the best thing ever. Like, it was better than anything that's ever happened to me. Like, I felt like I was the man. I was like, yeah, like I graduated, you know, like I ain't gotta worry about that. I was like, but right away I thought, so what's next, you know? That's what's next. I'm gonna graduate college, so, you know.
growing up is like, well, I can never be a lawyer. Never known a brown person, let alone someone in my family or someone that I know is a lawyer. At one time, I was the highest paid ward in the state of California, making $2.50, and I ended up saving $5,000 in cash. And I was afraid that they were gonna take that money away from me, so I started sending them in quarters to my mom and telling her, like, here, like, just remember this, that I have this money that when I come home. I did anything, like when it was like to picking up trash to welding. Like I did anything, like at a construction job that I had while incarcerated, because I knew that I would need funds outside. I was 15 when I went in, and I was 19 when I came home, going on to 20 because my birthday. Getting a job was really hard. I've always been transparent about my past involvement with the criminal legal system, because I think that defines who I am today. As I go through law school and still having to explain myself of like what I did in my past does not define how I could be an attorney. For some law school applications, a person will not look at me as their equal, but I'll work my way up to have them look at me as their equal. Being an attorney, it's something that I've always dreamed of, and no one's ever in my family is an attorney or has gotten to getting even a bachelor's degree or an associate's, and I was the first one to do that. What I want to give like my daughter is more than what I was given. I want her to be able to grow up in a world where she could be like, yeah, I could be an attorney, I could be a doctor, I could be this, because there's people like this that look like me. How could I just be the father that I didn't have growing up in my life?
As a kid growing up, man, I had the same thing too, man. Like, my mom wasn't coming to my baseball games. Like, it sucked. I was like, what the fuck? Like, my bad, like, language, but I'll probably be authentic with you. Is like, where's my mom coming out when, like, I'm not stealing second base, but she's there when I'm stealing a Harry Potter movie, you know?
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying with the baseball game, because my goal was to be like a baseball player, football player, but I threw that away because, I was like, oh, like, no one cares about me, But what I want, like, honestly, what I want is just a chance, just a chance to show people that, like, even though I'm in this lifestyle, it doesn't mean that I'm not capable of things, like, I'm tired of being thrown in the trash can, like, I'm gonna pick myself up,
I do need a place to, shower, get cleaned up, things like that. So I actually, I go to the gym, which is right up here. I shower, I brush my teeth, get dressed, things like that. Mondays are my tough day because I work at the hospital all day Sunday night, and then as soon as I get out of the hospital at 7:30, I have to literally like get dressed in the car really fast, brush my teeth in the restroom, and then just like drive over to the school job. I tell myself, take it one, just survive this one day, and then that's it. You'll be good. I guess I'll introduce myself. My name's Bernice. I am one of 6 siblings. When I was 7 or 8, my mom left about 2 weeks after my little sister was born. Around like 14 and a half, 15, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. I lost my dad going on 16, and the best way I can describe it is we were on survival mode during that time. There were just so many red flags for me. I got in trouble for missing out of school. All I ever wanted was for someone to ask me, hey, like, come here, give me a hug, like, are you okay? Like, and I just want to say, no, I'm not okay, I'm hurting. I have not had a place to call home since I was, 16? I don't know, 8 years ago, something like that. That's really tough. I've always been a fighter. Even when someone hurts me or does me wrong, I just fight. I fight with my hard work. I do good in school, work hard at my job, and just be a fighter. I do visit my siblings at least maybe 3-4 times a week, and I do try to be very involved and, you know, take them to school at least a few times a week, and then I pick them up from school every day. So as soon as I get off of my school job at 2:40, I get in my car and I drive over, pick them up, and take them home. So at least I get my little high and by. We technically were in a guardianship / foster home, but I didn't even know it. I didn't know what foster care was. I slipped through the cracks. Nobody ever asked or came, hey, let's help you. Let's take you to a home. Let's take you to a shelter. Nothing. I remember going into the office. I was picking up my schedule for like my senior classes, and one of the counselor secretaries asked me, oh, tell your sister that she has to fill out the homeless paper. And I remember saying, homeless? I didn't realize that's what foster care is. You can't be with your parents because something happened and you're living with someone else. I graduated high school, and then I had applied to a couple colleges, which I actually got surprised. I was surprised I got accepted to a few. I decided to stay local just to kind of help out my younger siblings and be there for them. I remember going into the admissions office, and I say, hey, you know, I want to go to class today. And they basically say, well, we don't have any income information for your parents. I remember saying, like, I don't have parents. I can't provide that. And they said, well, if there's no income information, you can't go to school. Never once did anyone let me know about programs, scholarships. I believe in myself. I know I can do it, so I'm just going to keep trying to move forward. And if a barricade comes and I trip and fall, then, hey, I just have to get back up and keep going.
I feel like I stopped being a kid at the age of probably like 12. Because once I was 13, I figured out what drug my mom used. And that definitely changed in like a huge way, because I feel like the things that I was exposed to and the things that I knew already excluded me from being a kid. Up. Growing up, I would get abused by my older big brother, who eventually got sentenced to 5 years in prison when I was in that 3rd grade. So I only left me with one brother. He couldn't really accept the fact that I was growing up. So at one point, we just started really clashing heads. So that really just left me with just my little sister to be close to. So I currently now take care of her, right along with my mother. And what that looks like is just, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. I sleep in the living room. She sleeps in the room with my mom. I pay all the bills. I pay her phone bill. I pay for her clothes. I pay for her to go to school. I pay for the gas that goes in the car. Majority, I pay for my whole household. I'm the head of my own household. I've never been a prostitute, but I most definitely kind of got into that life of prostitution. And as far as pimping and panthering, I started gangbanging. I started using drugs. I started doing violence for no apparent reason. And that was really all just because I was trying to stuff the pain I was going through. When growing up, I didn't really have no guidance, so I went to the streets for love. I went from fighting for healing. I wasn't even taught the skills that I needed to have to be emotionally literate in life. My mom doing drugs at such an early age with me, it kind of just like, it exposed me really to that drug life, you know, it exposed me to slanging. I got bullied and abused as a kid, so growing up, those were just the great substances that I need to just, you know, stuff all those feelings that I was going through. And I didn't have nobody in my ear telling me, you know, you could go play basketball, you could go to college. I have like a lot of friends that's still my age, and some of them are really still in the gang life. Some of them are still doing prostitution, and fast money isn't the best money. But when you're taking care of two, not only yourself, but 2 others, it's kind of like, you know, fast money feels like the best way for you to get it. I'm no longer around a whole bunch of gang members and a whole bunch of gun violence. I'm still around drug use and I'm still around prostitution, but it's okay because it's not too much in my face. Not to me, it's already been exposed to me, but it's not exposed to my little sister. She's like my whole story right now. Like, you know, like I have a mother, but she's older, so my main priority is really just make sure that I have my little sister go down the right track, but you know, that's hard because my mother still dibbles and dabbles with drugs.
Let's get it, let's go.
My brothers used to always tell me, like, you can't do everything everybody else do. I couldn't do everything that everybody else did. I couldn't go to school and act out. So if I act out, then CPS is coming to my house. And if CPS come to my house, we're all getting taken. Being about like 8 to 6 years old and having about 7 police officers come in your house armed, you know, like raiding your house and putting your brothers in handcuffs and putting your mamas in handcuffs, you know, like when I was at the age of 15, I got into an organization called Project Aware. And with that, it taught you how to deal with your emotions non-violently. I did it one time. I never went back because it's unraveling all those feelings and those emotions that you've been stuffing. Well, first and foremost, I hope everybody having a good afternoon. Like I just said, I'm running off for 3 hours of sleep, so y'all gotta bear with me. But, okay, well, welcome today. As y'all see, we got a little bit something different going on today, so if y'all can, just don't mind the cameras. But again, my name is Felicity, and I will be running group today. So, with these groups, I've learned that, you know, I can have them emotions. It's okay to feel that you want to feel. You know, you can express them emotions and you don't have to be violent. You can express emotions and you don't have to go get high or feel shameful after, you know, so. Once I started going to the groups, you know, I started learning that people can't handle their own emotions, so they're gonna act out these outrageous ways, you know. Hurt people hurt people. I was talking about this earlier, like I personally I've never been a prostitute. And I've never qualified myself as a pimp. But I was doing what the guys was doing. I was getting females. I started at a very young age, you know, hoes and pimps, y'all are both victims, you know, because you guys are both in survival mode. Just knowing that, like, you know, I'm probably causing this pain, I'm causing this hurt onto another female, that was just, I was doing all those things that I wouldn't want nobody to do to me, or I wouldn't want nobody to do to any female in my family, you know, so you're like, I battle with your mind and your heart, you know, but then at the end, like I said, you're in survival mode. I was a hurt person hurting other people. I feel like everybody needs that safe spot, you know, whether it's in your community, in your household, whatever the case may be. I didn't have nobody ask me how you're doing. I didn't have nobody ask me how your day was, you know. So when I came into this group settings, and every week, at least if it's only just once a week, I got somebody asking me, like, how do you feel? What's on your mind? Like, you know, and it got to that little girl that was in elementary and got bullied, you know, like it got to that little girl who had a drug addict mother and just didn't know what to do, you know, like this is the one time out of somebody's week that we're actually getting asked how we feel, you know. When I started doing these groups and knowing that other kids in my community that was really like right in front of my face was going through the same things I was going through and they was talking about it, that made it like, it made it safe for me, you know, to be like, okay, if you're talking about it, I could talk about it.
I used to get in fights a lot, and I'm still getting in fights a lot. And that's one thing I want to stop to do. Like, I'm having like, me and my family connections is not how it was before. Yeah.
Something I struggle with is relationships.
I'm feeling overwhelmed and hurt. And one thing I struggle with letting go
without being disrespected or without
There's a lot of things I struggle with, but only one.
I struggle with balancing. Just being able to be myself. You probably make it out here, man.
Having a figure in your life that was a lifer at one point in time, that was the first Black African American man to get out of prison, the first time on parole, the first time they go into the board. And not to mention that they know your family and that they've been through the things that you've been through and had a prior life that you did, like, that showed me. You know, like, this man did 16 years in life and he came out and has his own organization now. That's lit to me, you know, because when you're gangbanging and when you're fighting and then you're in this such life, you know, trying to rebuild the community like he messed up, basically. You know?
I'm gonna speak about it. You may not see me crying. I don't know what's wrong.
I think I prefer 7-Eleven coffee to Arco coffee.
Can you get a picture of it?
And so do they come, how often?
Yeah,
do you
once
do it?
a week we do one group at the next library. But we do like 10 others throughout the week.
The whole
at,
week,
like,
right?
Schools, juvenile hall.
So it's just whoever makes this their regular meeting, they come to the one at Malcolm X.
Take a picture. Oh, you still ain't taking no pictures of her.
Felicity, I have to tell you that she is at a crossroads. I think she says very openly that every day it's a decision about to do the right thing or do the easy thing. And every day she's making that choice, and she's surrounded by people who cheer her on either way. There's people who are saying, no, come on, let's go this direction. There's people who are trying to pull her back the other way. And so just trying to stack it a little bit more, so there's more of those people on the side saying, no, go this way, you're doing a great job, just keep going. I think that's where I kind of fall into this and why I want to be a support to her, because she does have a tremendous outlook. And also she's very much still in it. And I think I can relate to what that looks like. I can relate to what it looks like trying to use my voice and mentor other young people when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and still trying to figure out how I was gonna pay for food and where I was gonna live and how I was gonna get to school if my car broke down. And it's exhausting. I don't think we talk about that. It's exhausting. And so how do we continue to have the motivation to do the right thing when it's often harder?
It's no longer an L that I'm taking. I'm not taking a loss by myself. I'm taking a loss for my mother and my sister. If I go to jail, my mother and my sister is gonna be homeless. If I stop doing these groups, my mother and my sister is gonna be devastated, because then I'm gonna go backwards. I'm not gonna be the person I am. I'm not gonna be able to function the way I do, so it's like they're like those risks I'm not willing to take. I won't take them risks. Because like I said again, I'm not only in this for myself no more. I got 2 others that I'm living for. I got multiple others that I'm living for, but for the right now, this time being, those are the 2 that I'm doing this all for.
Being on the streets, if you're a young woman, within 72 hours, you're going to be contacted by some sort of sex trafficker. For me, having that happen within the first 24 hours of being homeless, that really caught me off guard. Like clockwork, almost every morning some guy would come up to me, he's like, who are you running with? How much? Who's your pimp? Hey, do you want to run with me? I'll keep you safe. I hated people in general, so I was immediately like, no, fuck off. Who am I? It's always an interesting question. It's like, who are you? And it's like, oh, I'll let you figure that out for yourself. When you're sleeping in your car, you don't get a lot of sleep because you're always afraid of people knocking on the windows. You're afraid of people trying to break in. You're afraid of the police catching you. I go through at least 100 people asking, hey, can I crash for a couple days? Hey, can I live with you? Hey, can I rent a room? And not really telling anyone you're homeless. Who wants to homeless 17-year-old girl in their apartment? Sometimes I would hang out at Denny's overnight, and during the day, I would sleep or be at work. Yeah, that's kind of how it was being homeless on the streets, especially in LA. During the night, you can just walk on the bus. So I ended up a lot of times just finding the night buses and just falling asleep on them, getting an hour to here, and essentially living out of my backpack. I would get away with being not on the streets, kind of just go from one place to one place to one place. The other option was, again, 24-hour diners were really good, and dining and ditching. And there are these little tricks and things that you can do when you are homeless to stay alive. Am I proud of them? No, but you do what it takes to survive. You know, you have guys who will tell you, yeah, stay at my place, but I'm gonna expect something out of you. So is it prostitution? Is it sex trafficking? You decide. Because the only option I had if I needed to stay somewhere, I only had them as an option unless it was on the streets. And so yeah, there was a couple of guys that, you know, alternated to make sure that I could actually have a safe place to stay. Because so long as it was sex, they would feed me, they would clothe me, they would house me.
So when I was 18, I had a scholarship and I had a car that I basically just walked onto a lot and purchased with a 22% interest rate. I had mentors and I had a part-time job, and so I had all of these things sort of going for me. But one of the things that started to happen is, you know, my scholarship was dependent on my grades. And then this paid internship I was doing was dependent upon my full-time enrollment, which was dependent, you know, so it's like, and then my housing was dependent upon whether or not I was doing this internship that was paid. And so it's like, if one thing fell out of line, if I got one bad grade and something was threatened, everything else was gonna fall. So it just was this enormous pressure cooker to succeed, and there was no place to fail, because if you failed, it meant you lost everything. And I don't think that people who sit down and say, you know, we want to see transition age youth succeed, so let's just pile on all these productivity requirements, because there's this idea in their head that they're lazy, that they're entitled, that they're not going to work hard, that they're going to stay at home all day and eat Cheetos and watch TV. And so we have to make sure that they're doing X, Y, and Z to show that they're being productive and deserved of whatever we're giving them, whether it's, you know, a monthly stipend or a payment or a scholarship. But I don't think they understand how inflexible that can be and how incredibly hard that can be on a young person's mental health when they're trying to figure out who they are in the world, when they're leaving a childhood that was marked by traumatic experiences and events. And that ultimately, by adding all these requirements and doing all these things, we're making it worse. We're not making it better. We're not giving opportunities. We're creating penalties. And so how do we sort of change our thinking and be more flexible and create space where young people can fail and will still be there without any conditions?
So I was born in the middle of the 90s. Parents were addicted from anything from meth to heroin and cocaine, severe alcoholics, smoking 2 packs a day, and homeless themselves. They obviously couldn't be parents, was taken away and was put into a foster to adopted situation. My adoptive placement was much worse than my biological situation, because by the time I was 9, I could definitely understand, you know, emotional, psychological, physical, and sexual abuse that happened. And, you know, by the time 14 came around, when I finally ran away from home for, not the first time, but the time that put me back into foster care, you know, they checkmarked every box for situations and things that I had been describing at home. So I'm almost 16 and, you know, I'm essentially failing out of high school. I can't just go to school and act like everything's normal. You know, my 18th birthday comes and goes. I have to go through almost every friend. So I go through at least 100 people asking, hey, can I crash for a couple days? Hey, can I live with you? Hey, can I rent a room? And none of them are open to it, because who wants to homeless 17-year-old girl in their apartment? Who wants to help someone who, you know, it's fine for a night.
I've always had a dream of being an RN. I finally got a call from the hospital and I began working night shift at the hospital and the school Monday through Friday. I was hurting so much inside here, but if I worked, I was always so tired and working, I don't have to like feel the pain, if that makes sense. So I just distracted myself with work. I was working my butt off and I was trying to go to school. I was trying to make good choices, and it was barricade after barricade, and I had a lot of like issues. Number one issue, trust. I thought everybody was out to get me. I thought everybody was against me. It was hard to build relationships because I had no trust. I felt really embarrassed living in my car. I felt ashamed that I was a failure. Again, my survival mode kicked in again. I'm like, okay, it's okay. I have my blankets. I can sleep in the car today, and we'll see what tomorrow looks like. So I was literally living day to day. I also had to stop going to school too because I just couldn't afford it. It's either I live and eat or I go to school and buy books. Things that helped me heal, the first one was family, like my siblings. I feel like those attachments that I had with them was all I had. That's all I had as far as like trust and love. Because we all experienced really, really like tough things together. And we only had each other to lean on, so they saved me from ever messing up. Anytime I would want to do something bad, like I would think I can't do that to them. I doubted myself, I didn't love myself, but like God knew what I was going through, and He loved me, and He accepted me for me, and He never judged me. He never rejected me. He always knew, hey, like, you're living in your car. Like, it's okay, I accept you, I love you. Looking back now, I just, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm actually really, like, proud of myself. Like, I never chose drugs. I never chose alcohol. I never chose a bad relationship. Things happen with parents, and the biggest, most important thing is like it's not your fault.
We're finally at a place collectively where we know enough about the impact of trauma that we can look at youth who are involved in either the child welfare system, the juvenile probation system, who've experienced homelessness, who've had sort of the system involvement, that they are the same kids. And I think we say that, we've recognized from the research that these are the same kids. Oftentimes they have the same challenges at home. They've had the same struggles in school. They've had the same traumatic experiences and events, and they're just coming in through different doors. We say this all the time, right? We say we can't treat these kids differently. We can't say that, this child is in foster care because of no fault of their own, but this youth who is in juvenile probation is a bad kid.
You got involved in all of this pretty young.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you would say to teachers to look out for so that they can just be more aware? Like, did you stop going to school, or, would it have made a difference if someone paid a little bit more attention to you in elementary school, or was it junior high, or when did the streets become more desirable than school and sports?
To keep it 100, I'm not gonna lie, I grew a connection what I'm involved in. Like, I grew a connection, and there's no going back for me, because I'm in this lifestyle, I'm deep, but to be honest, if I wasn't in here, I think I would have been out and done something more stupid, or I probably would be dead right now. To keep it real, I'd probably be dead right now.
My boy Oscar, I love you, man. Rest in peace. Boy Rebel, rest in peace. Just see, me and Oscar, we actually we got arrested together for stealing chicken in Arizona's from the local Albertsons, and he ended up getting released, and then I ended up getting sent to boys camp for that, and then he was only back into it for about 2 months. And then one night, July 27th, made a bad decision. Went out, did things he shouldn't have, lost his life. So it was a big wake-up call because I never knew that someone so close could just leave like that instantly. Like you don't even get a chance to say goodbye. It's just like that. And it hurts. My son, I don't want him to grow up and be a gang member. I want him to experience things that I never got to experience. You know, I want to give him a better life because that's what it's all about. That's what my parents did for me. They sacrificed so I could live better, and I did. So now I gotta sacrifice for him.
This is my guy right here. He's helped me pull chicks before. Yeah, we pulled some chicks on before we met mamas.
Oh, you dirty ass dog. You ever just look at someone and you're like, man, like I just want to hit that dude. Like, I mean, that's not blowing up on people and stuff. I've been doing pretty good at that. So I've been doing pretty better. I mean, it probably has something to do with me being a child and something happening to me, you know, like all that shit, like with the doctors, you know, oh, he experienced something, that's probably what it is. They're probably right, you know. I mean, just being home, dude, being with my son. I used to miss waking up, like him waking up and looking at me like, oh, you're up, you know? When I got out of jail, I went in the room and I was chilling and I was looking at the turtle and I was just like tripping out, like, man, because he's locked up in a little cage, dude, a little freaking glass box, dude. Definitely has mental issues, that turtle. Like, definitely hasn't been around any other turtles in years. Like, he's just alone, man. And like, it's kind of how I felt, just like alone, secluded, dude. Like, that shit sucks, man. It kind of gives me an insight on like animals caged up and shit. Like, I'm not really for that. Like the zoo, not really a fan of the zoo. I think that shit's inhumane, dude, how they do those animals. It's fucked up. It's literally just a criminology school. Put a bunch of criminals together, swapping ideas and shit, getting high when they have drugs, and fucking, they all just go out and try it. Like, oh, I'm gonna go try this guy's idea. I could probably do it better than him, you know? And fucking, I mean, slight programs to help rehabilitate you, to change your thinking, but not much, man. They really don't got much. They really don't have shit there. You literally just go and chill all day and just kick it.
What I was really impressed by hearing is you said that your next goal is to graduate from college.
Yeah.
So I know that you face unique barriers to get to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something I can do in terms of the program side, in terms of the sheriff's side, that could help you overcome those barriers so that when you walk out those doors, you're better prepared to tackle those barriers?
I don't really know, because I don't know how, like, what I can ask for, you know, because I'm not really, like, I don't know what's there for me. Like, maybe if you guys, like, tell me what could be there for me, then.
I was informally incarcerated too, and when I was here in the jail and they used to have a thing called sheriff's parole, and I told them I wanted to go to college, and they said, you're never gonna go to college because you have a felony on your record. And I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna show you that that's not true. And I have a master's degree now, so I can tell you that you can come from here and you can get a bachelor's and you can go further. Even when I was here at county jail, I tried to get out on what was called sheriff's parole, and I told them that my game plan was to go to college. And a couple of white ladies on the panel said, you're never gonna go to college, you have a felony on your record, you're never gonna do anything. Kind of a big deal to get hired on here working with the sheriff's office. The sheriff came and gave a speech at one of our DRC graduations, and he talked about redemption, and he was talking to our parolees that were graduating from that program. And I listened to him talk, and I was like, that's pretty profound when he was talking about how everybody deserves a second chance. Well, having a felon and working for law enforcement don't really mesh very well. And he understood that because of my lived experience, I would be an asset. And so he was willing to waive the requirement that said that they couldn't hire felons, and he passed my background. I appreciate you saying you don't know what to ask for, because that tells me that I need to do some work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Being the inmate services manager, I'm in charge of the alcohol and drug treatment program. I'm in charge of the education programs. I'm in charge of all of the services that the inmates receive.
I didn't care, you know, honestly. Like, I was being selfish because there's other people that do care about me being locked up.
People, they come here in crisis, and then we throw them into a holding tank and we traumatize them further. And then we remove them from their children, which traumatizes them further. And then we keep them away from their children, and then they don't know if their children are safe or if their children are being victimized while they're gone, and who's protecting their children. And I'm speaking more about the women because that's just, I'm a woman, and I was incarcerated here with women, so I get that. So the whole idea of incarceration and not understanding the entire person is a challenge, and it does re-traumatize them. And I don't know that there's an answer to that right now, because that's a system-wide. That's not just here, that's with the DA, that's with the public defender, it's this huge thing.
You know, behind my smile, you know, there's still a lot of pain, but I can't let that get to me, you know. I don't know why, I just have a soft heart, like, you know, and I really care about what people, you know, go through, because I want to help people that have been through, you know, my shoes. Cause
how come probation officers get more of like why people do what they do?
Teachers.
Yeah, teachers too. Like your teachers inside there, like I know that like in juvenile hall, like if you say something, you get kicked out, like, and that's like taken away from your school, and already you're taken away from a setting. Like, how could these people get like, well, I know you could cuss at me all you want, but I still want you to be in this room because I'm gonna still teach that math problem, and I want you to, at the end of the day, be in here rather than be kicked.
I've seen a lot of staff that used to treat me like crap grow up into like one of my favorite staff because they got close to me, and then they'll talk to me, and then people would think, oh, we need this, we need that, you know, like, no, like, just support and like showing that you're caring, like, it goes a long way. At least for me, it went a long way.
You know how we all, like, people all the time is like, man, well, if I had your job, I would have do this. If you had that job title, what would you do?
I just want to send a message to the public defenders, you know, like, yeah, you guys, you know, you guys don't know us, you know, but it's someone's life, you know? It's not just, you know, it's not like a piece of trash, it's someone's life that you're dealing with, you know? And the DAs, you know, like, I understand it's their job to put, you know, to go against us, but like the DAs don't even look at me. They don't even look at me, and if anything, the most they'll do is point at you, that's it.
A lot of public defenders, a lot of DAs, they are overworked and stuff, but still, that's no excuse. I mean, it's our lives that they're messing with, our lives.
We need people like you to help us do our work better. There's a lot of youth within our community, in our nation, that are really asking for help, but in ways that cause harm or pain to others. Because hurt people hurt people.
When I get out, I'm gonna have my little family right there. So that's like my concrete right there, like my foundation. So that's like I already have a step in the right direction. People that want me to do good. My mom's gonna be so happy right now.
You just keep showing up and you keep being authentic and real with them and focusing on what they're good at, because they have so many gifts and so many talents, and sometimes they don't see it. And so you help them see it. And we can hold up a mirror and we can show them all the amazing parts of themselves, and we can say, look how wonderful you are, and look how awesome you are. And it's uncomfortable for them, you know, it can be. And so we just keep holding up the mirror and reminding them that they're so much better than their circumstances. You know, we always say like, hey, where you start out is not where you have to end up.
Like, ask for help. That's the thing. Search for opportunities. We are not the worst deed that we've done in our lives. Youth that commit serious crimes can change. They're just like everyone else. I'm just like everyone else. I just want an opportunity to do what I can, and I want to be able to reach my goals and my dreams, and I want to be looked at as that we're good and not bad, and we could be good.
You can't change nothing overnight. You have to stay humble, and you have to continuously have faith. Those was like my main 3 things that like kept me going. And you don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to hold that wall up. You don't gotta be Superwoman or Superman. You know, you could be whoever you want to be. You could be weak. You could sit back and cry. Slowly but surely, I know I was gonna make a difference. You know, I knew that something was gonna start to change.
Stand up for yourself. If no one else stands up for you, you know what? You stand up for you and just use your voice and say, hey, someone's hurting me. I don't want to go home. We have that power.
For like younger youth who are still in the system, or even for those who have been adopted, I mean, I live by a very hard and fast rule, is that it doesn't matter who gives birth to you, it doesn't matter who raises you, it doesn't matter who pays for you. The only thing that matters is someone who loves you unconditionally and gives you life and gives you hope and gives you support and care.
You know, I'm still smiling, I'm still here, and I'm still trying to keep my head high, and I'm gonna do everything I can to get home. And even though I'm here right now, I'm still trying my best to do good, and I'm still gonna do something with my life. And I'm ready to start my life and I'm ready to move on, and I'm pretty sure there's people out there that want to start their life too. As long as you have a strong heart, you're gonna do it, you know? You know, people out there, you guys could do it too, you know? It's never too late. You could be 30 years old and it's never too late. You still could do it, you know? So that's all I gotta say, you know, like you guys could do it. So yeah.
Keep asking for help, man. I know it gets hard, like in here, like dude, always keep your head up, man. Always keep your heart open.
IRC control 2499 bus gate, please.
Dang, ironic.
See that?
I feel like I'm getting out.
So you here? You fight a case?
Yeah. We'll be here for a little while.
You're looking alive.
Yeah.
Corporal, one returning.
Come on now, bring me in now. So my boy. All right, thank you. Come on now. Yeah, man. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Like everyone grows up different, you know? It's really what it is. And I think, I don't know, people, they do that judge the book by the cover thing, you know? Without ever, even I do it, I'm not gonna lie, I judge people all the time. Like, no one wants to hire people that get out of jail. Like, I got lucky because my boss, he was willing to give me a chance because I'm young. Yeah, man, just got the nice hills and stuff. I mean, it's cool to come out here and just chill. I mean, at first it's hard. Like, that's like, I think that, like, the first month is probably the hardest because you're trying to find stability, you know? Like when I got my job the day after my birthday, and that was like a couple weeks after I got released, and it helped because it helped me occupy my time. It helped me like stay a little bit financially stable. But I mean, it's just tough, like the first month. I mean, I want to go back to school too, probably do something, but I'm not sure what yet. Or like once I finish group, it's either start school now and then try to help me financially too, because I could get grants and stuff in the like FAFSA. But once I get off group, I'm probably gonna get a second job or something, or let my girl get a job and watch our son. So you know, she gets a little bit of freedom, a little bit of free time, you know. But that's really it. I mean, there's been times where I've come and this thing's just all dirty and stuff, and no flowers, and sad. That shit sucks, man. To bring a child in the world and then to lose him, that's my main fear. He's the one thing that keeps me like really stable. Like the one thing. I don't want to be a bad role model for my son. I want to be a good one, and I want him to look up to me. You know, I want him to model himself after me. Only the good things that I do, though. You know, not the past life, but the Nate now.